Sooner or later, every South African gets involved with the planning of a wedding, whether it is their own or for someone else. Weddings are meant to be magical, and no client ever plans to book and then cancel a wedding photographer. But these things happen. Behind the scenes of every perfect photo and flowing white dress, there's a contract, or there should be. And when things go wrong, like a cancelled wedding, confusion often follows, even if you have a contract in place. Today we focus on one question that affects most photographers trying to build a business and couples navigating complex emotions. What happens when a wedding photography booking needs to be cancelled? We're unpacking the legal story behind refunds, cancellation fees, and contracts that don't align with South Africa's Consumer Protection Act. Because it turns out, many photographers and even more clients don't fully understand their rights and responsibilities under this law. Welcome to the Refunds Show, where I look at those stories that affect every South African in some or other way. While this video offers insight into how the Consumer Protection Act applies to wedding photography bookings and cancellations, I must make it clear that I am not a legal expert. The information provided is intended for general understanding and should not be taken as legal advice. Each case is unique, and I strongly encourage both photographers and clients to consult with a qualified attorney for professional guidance tailored to their specific circumstances. I worked as a wedding photographer for many years, and one thing I learned is that taking beautiful pictures isn't enough. Knowing how to use your camera, lenses, and lighting is important, but having a solid contract is just as crucial. A contract protects both you and your clients, and it should cover common situations, including what happens if a wedding gets cancelled. Without one, things can go wrong quickly. So here's lesson 1. Always have a written contract in place. According to Section 17 of South Africa's Consumer Protection Act, clients have the right to cancel bookings made in advance, like hiring a wedding photographer. But here's what many people don't realize. Cancelling doesn't automatically mean you'll get all your money back. Photographers are legally allowed to ask for a reasonable deposit when the booking is made, and they can also charge a reasonable cancellation fee if the booking is called off. So, what does the word reasonable really mean when it comes to cancellation fees? It's not just about choosing a random percentage like 50%. That won't work and could break the rules of the Consumer Protection Act. Instead, the fee must be based on real measurable costs and what's considered normal in the wedding industry. Photographers should look at the time and money they've already spent and explain those costs clearly. Also, if the client cancels because of death or hospitalization, Section 17, paragraph 5 of the CPA says the photographer cannot charge a cancellation fee at all. When we talk about cancellations in wedding photography, we need to be fair, not just with emotions, but with numbers. According to Regulation 5, paragraph 3 of South Africa's Consumer Protection Act, photographers can't simply decide what feels reasonable as a cancellation fee. Instead, the law gives us a set of key guidelines to follow. Let's walk through them together, slowly and clearly. What the client still owes. That's any unpaid amount up to the date of cancellation, whether it's a deposit or payment due. What the photographer has already provided. Think engagement shoots, planning sessions, venue visits. These carry real value and aren't refundable. Costs already incurred. That means hours spent planning, calls, travel, editing prep, admin and marketing. If money has already been spent, it must be factored in. Notice period before cancellation. Let's be honest, if a client cancels 2 weeks before the wedding, it's far harder to fill that spot than if they cancel a year ahead. Chance of rebooking the date. If it's peak wedding season, a photographer might rebook easily. Off-season dates? Less likely. These factors must be looked at together, not in isolation. No photographer should randomly decide, I'll keep 50% just because it sounds right. That's not how the law works and could be in violation of the CPA. So here's the rule. Use facts, document costs, and always be transparent. That way, everyone walks away informed. Let's compare two bookings. A 10,000 Rand wedding booking. Maybe the photographer spent 2,000 Rand on meetings and venue visits. With early cancellation, let's say a year before the wedding date, 8,000 Rand should likely be refunded. Imagine you have a 100,000 Rand booking. If 30,000 Rand was already spent on logistics, styling and prep, and the cancellation comes just before the wedding event, let's say a month before the wedding, the refund amount could be much lower, but still not zero, unless properly justified. Remember, the refund doesn't scale directly with the total price. It scales with the actual costs incurred. Timing is everything. The following table gives an example of some time frames and what you can expect in terms of a refund. Photographers must always document what's been done and spent. And clients, remember to ask for this when requesting a refund. Let's talk about contracts. Those small print details that can cause big problems. Some wedding photography contracts include phrases like non-refundable deposit, no matter what. And let me tell you, that is a big red flag. According to Section 51 of the Consumer Protection Act, any clause in a contract that tries to take away your rights under the CPA, or misleads you, or hides important information, or traps you in unfair conditions, can be declared unlawful. So what does that mean? It means if your photographer's contract says you lose everything, even if you cancel 6 months ahead, you don't just have to accept it. You have the right to challenge that clause. You have the right to ask questions. If a photographer refuses to change this in their contract, do not sign. And if you're a photographer, here's your takeaway. Avoid rigid, one-size-fits-all wording. Instead, be transparent. Spell out your cancellation policy clearly. Show your clients how you calculate costs. Make the terms fair. That's not just smart business, that's legal peace of mind. So, before you sign, read carefully. And if something sounds off, well, it probably is. So what do you do if a photographer slaps you with a ridiculous cancellation fee? Or worse, violates the Consumer Protection Act? You've got options. You've got rights. And here's what you can do. Firstly, file a complaint with the Consumer Goods and Services Ombudsman. Go to the website on screen. Second, consult a legal professional who knows the CPA inside and out. This isn't just advice, it's strategy. Third, if it's serious or systemic, take it to the National Consumer Commission. They're the watchdogs for unlawful contract terms. You're not powerless. The law's on your side, but only if you use it. Don't let fancy jargon intimidate you into silence. Because here's the truth. Unethical clauses crumble under scrutiny. Planning your big day is exciting, but don't let the romance cloud your judgment. Before you book your photographer, here's what smart couples do. Request a written refund and cancellation policy if it is not already included in the contract. It's not being pessimistic, it's being prepared. Ask for a cost breakdown. Know what that deposit actually covers. Transparency is protection. Scan for strict or unfair contract terms. If it feels off, it probably is. Clarify times. When can you cancel? When can you reschedule? You deserve to know. Keep everything in writing. Verbal promises don't hold up. Emails do. Wedding photography isn't just an art, it's a service. And a service comes with terms, so ask questions, read closely, and protect your day with the same care you're putting into the guest list. But let's flip the lens for a second, because this part's for the photographers. Wedding photography isn't just about creating breathtaking images. It's about running a business. And with that comes responsibility. You're not just signing on for creativity, you're signing on for accountability. That means contracts. Contracts that are clear, balanced, and fair on both sides. Too often the contract feels like a shield for the photographer, but that's not its purpose. It's not just there to protect you as a photographer. It's there to protect everyone, the couple, the business, the moment. So if you're building trust with your clients, start with your paperwork. Because a fair contract, that's the first photo you take, and it needs to be clear, well lit, and professionally framed. What should you make sure is added to your contract? Here are a few clauses that build confidence, and some that quietly raise alarms. Clear refund terms. If something goes wrong, clients want to know what they're entitled to in plain language. Timeline transparency. Lay out what happens if dates change. Rebooking, cancellations, partial refunds. Spell it out. Itemized fees. Deposits shouldn't feel like a mystery. Break down what's being secured. Time, resources, and prep. What contracts should not have. Vague, refund denial language. In other words, non-refundable no matter what. Sounds tough, but courts and commissions don't like it. One-sided rescheduling terms, if only the photographer can change dates or times with no input from the client. That's imbalanced. Liability waivers that overreach. Watch for phrases that try to dodge all responsibility. They won't hold up under scrutiny. A well-framed photo tells a story. So should your contract. Make sure it speaks to fairness, not just self-protection. In the world of wedding photography, creativity may win hearts, but professionalism keeps you in business. The Consumer Protection Act isn't just law, it's the language of fairness. Photographers, know your numbers. Clients, know your rights. Everyone, put the policy in writing. A final piece of advice for photographers. Keep deposits or booking fees in a separate escrow or booking account, which you do not touch until the wedding is completed, and never use funds that may be part of a refund should things go wrong. If you have any thoughts, please add them to the comment section. Thanks for watching, and if you found any value in this video, please do like, share and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one.